Okay, good afternoon everyone, thanks for coming. So basically normally we often have group meetings between 1 and 3, and I think this is a nice occasion for me and Steph to present the idea of how to write your thesis, Bachelor or Master in sharelatex and Mendeley. So it's a combination, just an introduction session, part of the group meeting. So I just start with it. The motivation of this framework is, well, it was basically Steph who came up with the idea to find a new way to write your thesis, a way that is user-friendly and intuitive platform to write your master thesis, master or bachelor. So whatever I'm presenting here, it's not that you have to do this, but we are just giving you an alternative to just basically working in Word, I guess, for most of you. It's a flexible environment for both the students, for their writing, as well as for us as a supervisor to monitor the progress and to have to just have a bit more an easy way for us to correct and give comments, because it works like a Google Doc framework, so it's all on the cloud, and whatever you do we can see as well. It's not that we will monitor you from a day-to-day basis, but just whenever you say, okay, I have something ready, you can write it in there, and then we can have a look at this text directly instead of sending back and forth draft versions of your text. For what I see as the main advantage as this framework is taking away the burden of formatting and layout towards the end of your thesis. So basically you often have to put everything in a good order and structure everything well, with a list of tables, figures, references. So this is all taken care of by the sharelatex template. And it's a cloud environment, so it also provides a direct backup solution, which is on via Dropbox. So if you have a sharelatex which is slightly upgraded, then there is everything is synchronized with a folder in Dropbox. So this won't be the case for you guys, because we start up the project in sharelatex. So the backup will be made on our Dropbox account, but well, it doesn't really matter where it is, but it's just there is a backup of what you have done so far. So that's a bit the motivation. Components, very simple. So on the one hand you have sharelatex, on the other hand the Mendeley for the bibliography, and via the interaction of the two we can just easily create your thesis. Well, you have to write the content of course, but the layout and the structure looks like this. This is all taken care of by sharelatex. I just address the components separately, so I'll start with sharelatex. There is a link there. All of you received already an invitation by your supervisor for a project? Not yet? Well, it's not necessary, but I just want to see. So sharelatex works as a Google Doc, so it allows you to share your LaTeX documents based on a common project. So every student has his own project. Every student is or will be invited to a project. I will use Eva's example today. So this is how I called it in the sharelatex. So this document is shared between the students and co-promoters and supervisors. There is a template which fulfills the criteria of the department, so everything is already there. And apart from some features of LaTeX itself, like there are some commands you need to know to write some specific things, it's not very different from a Google document. So the writing itself is just the same as you would do in any Word document. There could be that the front page is not fully correct yet, so this is something we should have a look at. But if this is not the case, well, then you just replace your first front page from the template with the original one which is provided on Toledo. I think the most easy thing to do now is just to have a look at the project itself online. So again, this is the sharelatex environment. There are a number of, so these are called the projects, so there are a number of projects for the different theses. I will just use the one from Eva. And then you see a number of files. So it might look a bit difficult, but well, in C it's not very difficult. So your main document is this thesis.txt file, so that's your main document. And then you have a number of subdocuments. For example, here in your chapters, and these subdocuments are called in your main document somewhere here where your document begins, begin document. And then this is how LaTeX deal with different things. So it will make a front cover, a title, front matter, and then this is how you call your different sub-documents which are listed there. So there's preface, abstract, Dutch abstract, table of contents, list of figures, list of tables, and then the different chapters. So you could include chapter, introduction, so there is an introduction folder over there, method and site. I think this is something that Eva already added, I guess. Okay.
But it didn't work, so
yeah, it's because of the ampersand.
It's because of this
one. Okay.
Well, it doesn't really matter. Anyhow, if you would have problems with it, it's in the cloud, so we can also have a direct look at it, and this is easily solved. Include chapter, conclusion, and then appendix and bibliography in the end. There is also bibliography style. This is the style, and then this is where you state, okay, I want to see my bibliography in my file, and make a back cover, and then the end of the document. So this is a bit about the structure. Maybe we can just have a look at the top, because there are quite some statements here. But what is, so this is what Steph wrote here: do not remove the following lines between the percentage symbols, because these are all related to the cover settings. So basically the only thing that you need to change is the title. So Eva changed this already. A subtitle, if you would have a subtitle, the author, and there is a list of, I don't think, here the email address and a date, so May 2014. I think that's it. So that's these are the only things you need to change. So just issues that are related to your specific project. Yeah, I think that's it, no? Yeah. And then maybe we can have a look at how an introduction file looks. Yeah?
Show the final result first, and they know.
Ah, yeah, okay, good idea. So this, well, maybe whenever you do something and you want to see it in the PDF format, the only thing you have to do is press here, recompile, so then the whole project is compiled, and a PDF will be generated. Well, you can see it here. So that's your front page. There is a copyright statement, so this is the official copyright statement, I think. There's a preface, abstract, so these are all the chapters you wanted to include, which was in the format of the thesis.txt file. There is then a Dutch abstract. The contents, so the table of contents is automatically generated with page numbers already included. There is a list of figures automatically generated, a list of tables generated. And then you just start, and I see Eva started writing her introduction already, very well. So chapter 1, introduction, and then you just, that's where your text comes in. So these were just some examples that we provided, so how to include symbols or equations, linking figures and tables. I will show that in the code later. How to insert a figure. There is also an example of a table. Chapter 2. Then potentially an appendix and a bibliography. So this is all automatically generated. And then a back cover page. So this is how your PDF looks like in the end. Okay. So we can have a look at the introduction. I scroll this upward again. So that's the introduction. Oh, that's already the introduction. Okay, so it's very simple, the structure. So you give it a name, chapter, introduction, you label it. So that's, if you need to refer to the introduction in the text later on, you have to refer to the label you give there. So label, chapter, introduction. Then you can work with sections. Well, that doesn't really make sense, of course, introduction. And so it could be section background, and then you label it with section background. Then you put some text. And maybe what is interesting here is the way you can cite. This is how you cite. So there is a cite P, which is a citation between parentheses. I can't see it very well, but it's this one. Oh yeah, you can't see it at all. And there is a cite T, which is an inline text citation, in which you just have the author et al, and then you have the year between parentheses. So that's the second one. So these are two ways of citation. The name that is here, I will come back to this later. So this is just as an example. Here there is a reference to another section in your thesis. Then you put just ref sec and then how you call this. So this one should be below. If there is another section here. So there's a second section, and this is labeled intro 2, and that's what you use to refer in this part to this part. So it's quite straightforward, I guess. The way to introduce symbols, there is just an example with theta. So this is how you write this in LaTeX. Yeah, if you would need some information on this, it's quite simple. You can Google is very good at that. So if you just say okay, symbol X in LaTeX, and then Google will provide you the answer. Also for equations, sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle to have like multi-line equations, but I guess your supervisor will be able to help you with that in case it's really necessary. For the figures is where you link to figures the same way you do to for linking to other parts of your thesis. So you just put ref, then fig, and then the name, the label you have provided to your figure. So this is the little part that refers to your figure, and there is always a label. So this figure is called sinc. So if you want in your text to refer to the number of this figure, you just refer to the label you have provided to your figure. So that's here. And the same for the table. The table is here below. So here is again label, table, and then the name of this table, and then you have to refer to this label if you want to reference to this specific table. Where was it? Yeah, here. So that's this reference. Okay, how to include an image? You basically need this part of the code. So you begin a figure, you center it, include the graphics. So this is the graphic you include, and then you give it a caption. So you write your caption here, and you label it. So that's in the PDF actually. Oh no, it works. Sure. So that's how this table is constructed as well. He knows where the figure statements are, and this is just how your figure looks like in the end. So you include the graphics, so you have to point to the directory where your graphics exists on your machine. Well, it should be here in sharelatex, and then you just give it a caption. And this is the same for the table. So then the caption is on top and the table looks like this. Okay. Was there anything else? Is there something else on this? No. So then we can go back to the main document. So this is your main document, the thesis.txt. And let's say we want to include another chapter. So for now we just have an introduction, conclusion. I could use this one. So this is the one that Eva added already. So I just remove the ampersand and then like, oh. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if
There's an S too many.
method site. Okay, yeah, indeed. I have to check. What did I put here? Method site. Yeah.
Go to the main document. To the PDF.
PDF.
PDF. Yeah.
Okay, put this one, recompile again. Okay, this is one. Okay, so this is now it's included. So this is the way you should do it. So I think the most easy thing to do, if you have, let's say, then you want to add another chapter, results. So you copy introduction, you call it results, you call the site within the introduction, or like, let's say, method site, you call this result.txt. Then you have to change the first line because it will be another chapter, and then you include it in your main file, the thesis.txt. You say include chapter results. So this is now the one we just added. So you see that also here Eva already added some things. I think this is quite straightforward. Does anyone already have some questions on this? Like how the structure is done, or how to call specific chapters, or no? Okay.
Yeah, maybe a hint. If you do this, it's a good idea to do this compile very often. So don't write your whole document and then do compile, because then you have to take out a lot of errors later. If you write a paragraph, you can already do compile and see, okay, is there some character that LaTeX doesn't know. It's just a little bit.
Where do you have to store the figures?
I think the figures here.
Here in the same chapter.
Yeah, so there's a folder image, and then there's so this is the figure that was referred to in the introduction chapter. But you're flexible in this now. You can just
You just have to name, yeah, depending on the name.
Oh.
If you go to introduction.tech, it's there in the name.
here.
Yeah, but probably it's it should be an image in the structure because there's no image in the name.
No, indeed. So normally it should be like this, because you're in the folder introduction where your text file is, so it should be, and then the figure itself, it's strange that it knows.
But it could be changed by the.
But isn't the introduction in the image folder?
Could have been changed by the template.
Yeah.
How
Indeed.
does this work?
This one.
How does this work? It
Hmm?
works. This
Because
works.
they define in the template somewhere that it should look for the image folder.
No.
So
Okay.
probably you always have to make an image folder in each chapter.
Yeah, so like you do in the introduction. So if you would have to, if you want to add images in method site, you make an image folder, and then that's where you put the images for this specific chapter, and then this is how you continue for the other chapters as well. Okay. Then the second.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So is there a visual equation editor in sharelatex? I know some LaTeX editors, they have this where you can point and click to make equations. So maybe
No.
curriculum doesn't have it.
No.
So if you want to make a really difficult equation, you can install offline LaTeX, make the equation and copy it. Maybe it's more, depends if you have a lot of
Maybe we should add an example of an equation as well, just to. So we can add an example of an equation, maybe a single line and multi-line equation. I think that's for thesis. I think that should do it.
It's a good idea to have one example project that everybody has access to, where we can, if there is a question on something, we can always add it so everybody can have a look at that.
Yeah.
So if we have a difficult example, we put it there and then everybody can have a look.
Yeah, indeed. That's a good idea. Were there any more questions on the first part? Nope. Okay, then the second part is the Mendeley. So Mendeley is a reference manager, and it's an academic social network. So I just took this from the website. It's well put, I would say. It can help you organize your research and references and collaborate with others online. So for us the most interesting part is the organize your references and collaborate with others online. So these are the two reasons why we chose for Mendeley. It's available on any platform, Windows, Linux and Mac systems. So you can it works online, but you can also just download it as a software package and install it on your local machine.
It's an iTunes for PDFs basically.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can also use it as a PDF editor. I will show that as well. And this is important. So a free membership only allows for one private group per person. So we all have free memberships. Nobody is really paying for the Mendeley services. So and that is the reason why we asked the student to make a group for his or her bachelor or master thesis. Because let's say I have 4 students and I can only create a group for 1 student, so that doesn't really work. So that's why we ask all the students that they make a group and then invite the supervisors to this group. So that's the way, the inverse from the sharelatex, in which we create the project and invite you. But for Mendeley, you create the group and invite us. Okay, let's see how it looks. So for me it's already installed. So this is my Mendeley. Yeah, so Eva is now upgraded to master thesis. Very well. Maybe first start with the bachelor. So Eva and Niels already created a group and invited me to this group. And then so Eva is able to put the PDF she has into this group, and I can just, if I think, okay, this is an interesting paper for Eva, I just look into my library, and I can just drag and drop one into this group. So then it's added to the documents. So there are, in this case, there are already quite some papers, and the first one is the one that I just added to this group. It's a very simple way to share your PDFs. To edit them, so we just have to double click on them, and then the PDF is opening. And then here with the tools on top, you can make a selection, you can highlight text. So also if you're reading a paper and you think this specific section is interesting, you can highlight it. You can just put notes. So it's a very flexible tool to work with PDFs. But what is important is that you make sure that your metadata for the PDFs that are in your Mendeley is correct. So if you have a PDF in there, like this one, empirical models for the correlation of global solar radiation. So he takes already some information from the PDF, like the year, volume, issue and pages. There's no journal here, and there is an author. You can see if it's in the database, because Mendeley is also a whole cloud-based system. So, and this one is already in a database, so it's able to retrieve the specific journal for this PDF, add it there, and this completes the full metadata of your PDF. So you have to make sure that you do this in Mendeley before you export information from the PDFs to a bib file, which is then used in sharelatex again. So make sure, just whenever you import something, make sure that the metadata is correct. If it's not in its own database, yeah, you can just type in the title in Google and look at the journal, and then you can edit there manually. So this is quite straightforward. You just, if I don't agree with this, I can just type anything there. So you can just change anything manually as well.
To sync.
And then you have to sync. Yeah, but okay. Was there something else?
I just perhaps the type. Above the title you have a different types. Journal article, which can also be a book or a thesis, because how you cite in your final document depends on the type of document. So you also have to make sure that this one is put okay. Something else sometimes overlooked.
Yeah, indeed. I guess the main things you will need is book article, maybe a report, thesis. Yeah, that's probably it, I guess. Normally. Okay, are there any questions for the Mendeley? I can't say much more about this. Yeah.
When you go to the head settings tab, then it does a little bit, for me, I put out some like 20 papers or something like that, and I see that 70% of my SharePoint space is already full.
Ah, yeah. Where can I see this?
Edit settings.
Ah, hier.
You see it's all, there's only 13 megabytes left, and 70 is already filled in. I think there are 20 papers inside.
Yeah. That's with
have much more space.
because the PDFs are synchronized as well. Yeah. So it's 100 megabytes.
Yes, you get for free, I think.
Okay, so this is something we have to think about.
You can
Yeah.
you cannot synchronize the PDFs.
No. Indeed. So now, well, it would have been. Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can have a look at this now. It is possible to just have the metadata listed, like all the references, without the PDFs being synced. This is what I do as well, because I don't have the space, so I just to have the references, which is basically enough to create the bib file. I mean, without really needing the PDF. Then the disadvantage is that not for all references that you just click on the PDF in Mendeley and that you can start editing there.
Yeah,
But that's
you can do it locally.
you can do it locally, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
But can you link PDF locally on your disk in some way to the Mendeley system, so that the space on the Mendeley system is not used? Because that would be ideal.
Yeah, you basically the difference is that if I now upload the PDF to Niels' folder, then Niels has access to the PDF as well, and I will always have access because I've uploaded it.
Yeah.
But Niels will have access to the PDF as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't sync it, I will have access, and Niels will only see the metadata.
Yeah.
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 And he has to also upload the file to link the PDF to the same. So he has to do it himself also.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
But I guess you could use Mendeley maybe to transfer the PDF and then disk and synchronize, and then Niels put it on his own local disk and couples it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So it's not really a problem. It just it would have been nice if we would have a bit more space on Mendeley. But
So in the group, the space that you have, how do you synchronize? Well, how do you create the group and put the document there without actually uploading the
I think
document?
it's in edit settings. No?
Let's see, where is it?
I think it's in the
No, but that's
edit settings, I think.
oh, but maybe it's just only the owner who can do this then. No?
Of your own library.
Yeah, indeed. Let's say. Yeah, so here in my case, so this is my library. Synchronization is only done for specific folders, so selected folders here, and then I just have no, there's only one selected here. So that's why I only use 27 megabyte. So this is if an owner of a group would do the same, so you go to your group, edit settings, you would see the same screen as I just had before, and then you can delete the reference of saying I synchronize the PDFs to this group. So this is something that cannot be changed by a user of the group, it seems.
So if you have a file in your group and you don't sync on the bottom there, you're going to have the metadata available for everyone in the group, but not the document.
If you add the file, then you have the document.
Yeah,
I mean it's
document,
but I won't be able, if I open this file,
you will be able to see the metadata,
but not the
file.
document. Yes, indeed.
So
Yeah, that's how it will be then. Yeah. But any more questions? Okay.
The main advantage I think of the Mendeley is that you have all your PDFs in one, or it's like an iTunes. If you have a lot of music on your computer, it's nice to have iTunes to have an overview of. The Mendeley does the same, and it exports all that information into one file which you can use in your thesis. So even if the cloud option is perhaps not perfect, it will help you at any way to organize your literature and to have an overview. You only have to make things right once, and then afterwards there always will be, if the metadata are right, they will be right in your thesis. If they are wrong, they will be wrong in your thesis.
Yeah, and indeed it also has a very nice way of searching your publications which are already in Mendeley. Okay, you have a keyword, let's say I'm looking for something related to Finland or Helsinki. So then it's easy to browse through these papers that are included. Then you just get the papers who mention Helsinki in this case. So it's also an easy way to find papers back. Well, you might have read something and you don't know exactly where it was. So this is also very easy to look for this again. Okay, and then the last section is on how to integrate another feature of Mendeley and put it back to sharelatex. So that's for the bibliography. Sharelatex uses .bib files to create your bibliography, which allows for an easier implementation of references into the text as well as the full bibliography at the end of your thesis. And Mendeley is able to automatically create this .bib file from the references in your library. So the only thing you have to do is, I will show how to do this, you just have to say, okay, export the references in my database to this bib file, save it somewhere on your local machine, and then upload this file to your sharelatex project. And this will be the file that you can use for your references. So how to do this is, I go back to the so these are all the documents in the group for Eva's thesis. Then what you need to do, you go to Tools, Options, then there is here a tab BibTeX. So what is important here is the BibTeX syncing. So you enable it, so that's the first line there. And then, well, if you only have one group it doesn't really matter. But if you have more collections, so you should create one BibTeX file per collection. And you provide a path in which this bib file should be stored. So for me, I store it directly in the cloud as well, so on Dropbox. I will show you how it looks like. So this is how you should do this for your own group. So just go to Tools, Options, BibTeX, enable the syncing of BibTeX and put a path where you store this .bib file. So in my case, this is the folder of Mendeley, and this is the file that is created. So it just adopts the name of the group. And then this is how it looks like. So it just takes all the information and put it in this bib specific format, which you can have an abstract, which is not always necessary. It looks a bit weird. Maybe this one is a bit more clear. So you have an author, that's where the file is, journal, and then number, pages, title. So this is the information that will be used by sharelatex to create your bibliography. And every reference has an ID. So in this case, for example, so this is the section for one reference, and it has an ID which is here in the first line. So it's Sarkar 2010A. So this is the ID of the reference, and this is the ID that you will use to reference in your text. Okay, maybe I should remember this one. So this file is created, then you can go to your sharelatex project. There is an example bib file here, so that's this one, allpapers.bib. So this is the example file that is provided with the template. So here you can see the same structure, and again every reference has an ID, like that's the one on top. So what we can do now, just I add the one that is created by Mendeley. So it's this one. So it's uploaded, it's now here. So then you can see the same file again. And I wanted to use this one as an example in the text. So if you have your own bib file, the two things you need to change. The name of your bibliography file, which is here below. So this one was the original one in the template, allpapers.bib. So that's here, this one. So we just replace the name by the one, your personal one, the one we just created. And then I can go to the introduction text file, and here there are a number of citations. So these ones will probably not work anymore because I probably don't have these references into my, well, Eva doesn't have them into her library. So but what we can do is say, okay, we just test the citation. It was 2010A, I think, so this one. So this is how you include the reference which is in your file. You compile it again. So you can see that it's synchronized with Dropbox, so this was directly the Dropbox notification. Just look in there. Here you can see what we just added. So we put site T, so it's without the parentheses. If it would have been site P, it would have been fully between parentheses. And he doesn't recognize the other ones anymore because these are not in the bib file anymore. So that's why you get this question mark. And then at the end, in your bibliography, your full reference is put here. So if your metadata is correct in Mendeley, the reference should look fine. So then it's a full reference which is in the perfect layout, and every reference will look like this. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was it. Any questions on this last section? I don't know, Steph, if you have something to add.
No, I think it might sound a bit complicated or look a bit complicated in